dans Shararea.
Well, good morning, everybody. Hello and welcome. This is another adventure of Cardweaver and Witch, because that's what we are. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be here yesterday. There's a lot that was it yesterday? Yeah, like I had to go, went to the doctor, new doctor, so it was like weird. It's fine. They're nice. It was all good. It was all good. So that was good. That was fun. Fine, not fun. It was not fun, but it was fine. And then we had to have, yeah. So like ages ago when we remodeled a little bit, yeah, they didn't do it right. So like the shower or something is a leaking, which led to mold. So we're getting that fixed, but luckily it hasn't traveled like crazy. That this is just like the leaking thing, or the severity of it or whatever was just something like recent, so we caught it in time, so we're able to actually get that taken care of, so that's good. It didn't like travel. It's being taken care of. It's just a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. And so yesterday we had to deal with that. They're coming back tomorrow, so I probably won't be doing a video tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be doing a video Friday either, so I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna do video Friday just in case. Depending on how long it takes for them to get all the stuff, to fix everything. With that being said, yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're having a good day. It is June 12th, 2024, as of this recording, 10:19 a.m. here in Northern California. We are going to be exploring the Queen of Swords. Oh my gosh, did I? Yeah, I think I did all of them. I was like, did I forget to change the name? No, I did not. What are you talking about? I did it right. So the Queen of Swords. And I don't know. This is probably gonna like I don't monetize anyways, but on YouTube. So, but the sword suit, honestly, like, and I say this with absolute love, but like they're the cunts of the minor arcana. They're the cuntles of the tarot. They really are. And I feel like sometimes I feel bad saying that, but no. I consider myself associated with the sword suit, very airy. And so I understand, like, yeah, a lot of times when I communicate, people really think I'm a cunt. And I'm really not trying to be. It's how I sound. It's just that tone. And then like the facial expressions, but I'm not really, I'm not meaning it that way, but it just gets interpreted that way. So I definitely can see that. And the Queen of Swords reverse is extremely harsh. It can be extremely harsh, I guess I should say. And if you look at the body language, we'll get into my talking points in a second. But if you look at the body language in reverse, her sort of like throne is her back is kind of towards the right, which is like the future. And then she's kind of looking back at the past. And then all those clouds around her, it's like cloud, like things are starting to be very, very cloudy, very foggy, can't see, kind of like, maybe really invested in tackling past things maybe that don't have any relevance to what I'm doing today or tomorrow, but like I'm like kind of in the fog, right, in the thick of it. And so that's stuff that we consider here. um And so, the Queen of Swords reversed often signals a time when emotions cloud our judgment. And I find this very, oh shit, sorry. I kicked something. I find this very, very fascinating. Like a lot of times when we're experiencing very challenging air moments, it has to do with emotion. It's like, oh, our emotions are out of alignment, or emotion relationships, right? Are out of alignment. And so I always find that quite fascinating. Um, so, the Queen of Swords reversed often signals a time when emotions cloud our judgment, leading us away from our usual clarity. This card asks us to examine where we might be letting feelings override our intellect, especially when making important decisions. Recognize the importance of maintaining emotional balance to ensure clear and effective decision making. So, when the queen pops up in reverse, we do have to explore maybe where we're a little too attached, a little too maybe emotional. And there's nothing wrong with being emotional, nothing wrong at all. But like swords associated with the air element, so we, yo, it just muted myself. It said that my I haven't touched anything. It said my mic was unplugged. I swear. Like I can't even move. And I move like I when I communicate, like, sorry. I don't know what's going on, but it's like freaking out. It's like I don't know. This thing is not wanting me to communicate today apparently, but we're going to keep communicating. So the Queen of Swords asks us like where might we be a little too emotional in whatever situation that we find ourselves in today or whenever she pops up. It very well, and I feel like it's like the past, things arising from our past that sort of like activate within us like extreme emotional response, and it prevents us from like seeing things clearly. And this is not judgment, but it's kind of like, you're living your life, you're doing your thing, and then like let's say an ex that you were like madly in love with that maybe ghosted you or something, whatever. They pop up in your life, and it just like all you can think about is the past, right? All you can think about is like what, all the things. Well, hello, Dragon Dancer. Welcome, welcome. I would click that, but I'm scared that my mic is gonna like, see, boom, okay, it didn't do anything. But stuff like that's like, oh, something extremely powerful or potent from my past. Well, hello, Zoe. Um, um, popped up and activated, and now that's kind of all I can obsess about, or all I can think about. I'm actually really good, thank you. I'm really good. I'm having fun doing these. How are you? How are you enjoying your day thus far? I'm doing well, thank you for asking. And so with the queen in reverse, she allows us to be mindful, like, ooh, I may be acting overly emotional, and I need to kind of dial it back. We need to understand, yes, it is okay for me to explore these emotions, explore these feelings or these relationships, but I also need to have a healthy dose of like mental foundation, like mental clarity and mental strength. Um and to balance all of those things from a mental standpoint, right? And so, what can we do? What can we do? We can journal, regularly. We can regularly. What did I say? I don't know. Regularly write down your feelings and the decisions you need to make. This physical act helps in distinguishing emotional reactions from logical decisions. things. And so when we kind of journal, and even like we don't have to like full on journal, but we can just write down like to-do lists, like, oh, this is what I need to do, this is how I feel about it, this is what I'm feeling right now, this is what I can do about it, stuff like that. When we can get on paper to physically witness and physically like sort of see what we're going through, and then what we need done, and how we can best achieve the results of it, it allows us to see maybe I'm overreacting somewhere. So it could be like a very intense response on paper, like, oh wow, that's a little much. I don't know if y'all do that sometimes. I'm like I can do that internally, like in my head. I'll be like going through like things I need to do, or what I want to say, or how I'm feeling. I'm like, bitch, that's a little cray. You're a little extra there. You need to like dial it back. It's not that serious. So you can implement journaling to sort of like um what am I trying to say? Balance the sort of the mental aspect, the physical aspect, and the emotional aspect of it all. Meditation. Um I know. Yes, me too. Yes. Well, you're too busy chasing freaking bears. And yes, you're chasing bears. You're a bear chaser. You can interpret that any way you want. Uh, but I know. It's just you just gotta do it. You just gotta just and I used to feel so bad. I'm like, ooh, I want this journal, this planner. I'm gonna be so good about it. And then I don't. I'm not good at it. I'm not. I don't. I can't. I don't know. Some people have this great ability to journal and to like make it look pretty. And like I'm like, first of all, and I'm not judging, but where the hell do you get all this time? But like for them, it's really not, they have the time because it's important to them and it makes their life a little more efficient. And also, it doesn't take them as long as it would probably take me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, I love that. I love that for people. Um, yeah, they come to you because you're like, "Here, bear, 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 have some honey." Uh, someone's gonna be like all upset. You shouldn't be doing that. It's a joke, people. Don't worry. Um, what am I talking about? Meditation. Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing. Like Um I have to print stuff out because I can't read my handwriting. I write I don't know if this is going to be offensive. So like, surprise y'all, I'm mostly Mexican. And so, and so like I'm used to people speaking Spanish around me. And when people speak Spanish, like it's like you're going fast. Like you're like on Audible, like you're like speeding up to like 4. And so that's kind of like that's my thought process. Like in my head, that's how fast I think. And then so when I'm trying to write as fast as that. And it just no. Can you interpret that? No, nobody can. I don't even know what I wrote. I don't know what it says. So yeah. um that's why it takes me a lot to journal, because I want to be able to reread, and so I have to like go slow. But I usually will type it out now. I'll type it out, print it out. Yeah. Otherwise, good luck, right? So meditation, practice meditation, focus on detachment. This can help in observing your emotions without being overwhelmed by them, allowing for clearer thinking. Um, I think detachment is so important and healthy when used appropriately, right? When in a very healthy space, detachment is so beneficial. Especially so when the Queen of Swords pops up in reverse, we understand we might be focused, like we might be very cloudy, we might be like invested really too much in something that might not matter as much as we are perceiving it to matter. And so, if we can get into a meditative state and kind of focus ourselves on being detached from the situation, and then like looking at the situation in meditation from that detached space, and see how it plays out, and then start to make um I go live on Facebook, and I go live on Facebook, and I go live on YouTube. So it's wherever people will like tune in and watch is who I'm commenting with. So yeah. So if you can meditate, see what you're going through from a detached space, it will help you observe what you're feeling, your emotions, but it also will help you sort of interpret like, oh, it's not as intense as as I'm in it, right? And so I don't have to really interpret this in a very heavy, intense way. Does that make sense? Um Emotional awareness training, uh right? So emotional awareness training, become more aware of how your emotions influence your decisions by noting times when you feel particularly emotional. Reflect on these instances to identify patterns and implement strategies to maintain objectivity. So important. Because the queen, she's a ruler. She got a long ass sword too. She got a heavy sword. It's huge. And she got a huge sword, so that thing can do some damage, you know what I mean? And so, like, we need to have emotional awareness training because, yes, we have responsibility, we have power, and the sword, if we just start swinging it around, we're bound to poke someone's eye out. And so, we want to make sure if we're going to poke someone's eye out, it's someone we actually want to poke their eye out and not like, innocent bystanders. I'm sure you do. Yeah, never mind. We're not, I'm like, no, no. Anywho, moving on to the second aspect, second key insight, key talking point today, the Queen of Swords reversed is the edge of communication. Everything sounds so wrong. The edge of communication. So, this reversal may portray us as cold or harsh, reflecting a disconnection between our intentions and how others perceive our words. It challenges us to communicate with compassion, using our understanding to bridge gaps rather than create divides. So important. And it happens all the time, especially when you're a swordsy person, right? um Using our understanding to bridge gaps rather than create divides, reflect on how our words can be interpreted and strive to align our expression with empathy. This is a big one, because first of all, we're, it's a challenging one actually, because we're not responsible for how other people interpret um what we do, what we say. Not really. That's on them. But at the same time, depending on the people in our lives, like we also yes, for sure. They do. Um we also are responsible for what we say, and when we know, sometimes our words can be taken out of context, then we can actually do a better job at enunciating certain things and making sure that tone, inflection, body language, all of that factors in when we relay a message, because it's so easy. Like, I know anytime I speak, it is so easy for people to take that and interpret it as me being mean, because of how I sound sometimes. The sort of like they expect me to be mean at sometimes too, and so automatically I know that when I speak, people might be on defense, right? And so I take that into consideration, because it's not I try to anyway. It's not always, but I try to. So when I'm communicating, I feel like I don't want to create more of a divide. I'm responsible for how I communicate. So I need to make sure that I express myself in a way that is going to be best at facilitating that, and aligning with that. Uh how I have Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, because like when you're picking up on text, it's like I feel it's hard because you're like I feel when we're picking up on text communication, um, a lot of times we're projecting. So we're reading it through our projections and not necessarily through our understanding of the person that we're communicating with, right? Does that make sense? And so a lot of times we get defensive or we get hurt because we're projecting onto that text communication, instead of just asking for clarity or even grounding out, detaching, like this, we talked about earlier, and seeing it from the other's like energy, from their perspective. So but yeah, I think that it's important to be mindful of how we do communicate. And so like if we are communicating in text, making it like making the text as best as we can. We can reread something like, oh damn, this is a little like pointed. It sounds that way. Just here's the facts, like very pointed. Let me add a few embellishments to kind of diffuse the intensity of that sword, right? Of that communication. Because I'm not meaning to like go for the throat at all. It just sounds like it. And so, active listening, practical applications, active listening, engage in exercises that enhance your listening skills, such as repeating back what someone has said to you before responding, ensuring you fully understand and empathize with their perspective. So, active listening, I think, is important. A lot of times, that's like something that is so frustrating to me that I've been dealing with lately is when communicating with certain peoples, right? That I care about, they're not listening. They're not, or should I say, they're not reading. They're not reading the communication. They're just waiting to respond. So it's like you can be like, "Oh, hey, checking in. How's it going? What are you up to? Blah blah blah." And they are like, they don't even really connect with that, and they're just like, or you're like, "Oh yeah, I just signed up for this training and education. Really excited about it. Yada yada yada." And they totally bypass all of your excitement and they just unload on you. Well, this is what's going on in my life. This is what I'm doing. This is my kid and my that kid and that kid and that kid and or no kids or whatever and blah 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 blah. And they just unload on you. And then they don't ask you like, how are you? What's going on with you? Or they don't go back and engage with what you were saying, right? That's extremely rude and it's extremely frustrating. And I feel like more of us need to learn how to actively listen. So, like, or actively comprehend or read communication that is being said. And so it just makes us better people, right? Better friends, better whatever. But when we take time to listen to what is actually being said, and make it a point, even if we're going to respond like, oh, yeah, this is what I'm up to, make it a point to go back and show that you listened and you're now asking questions about what is being said, right? So important. So important. Otherwise, you're just a dick. And let's just be honest, because it's dickish since we're talking about long swords. Or short swords, you never know. Never know. No judgment. All swords are welcome. Affirmations. Use daily affirmations that reinforce empathetic communication and understanding. Phrases like "I speak with kindness" and "listen with compassion" can realign our approach to interactions. Yeah. And so affirmations of compassion, like just affirming, like because when the Queen of Swords reverse pops up, we know we might be into something that we're not really seeing clearly, and we might be heavy on the emotional aspect of it, and we're just like really like overthinking. And now that the overthinking is influencing feeling of some type of way, and so like I recognize like I'm in something right now. So if we can utilize affirmations of compassion, and just say, you know what, this is where I'm at, this is who I am, I'm affirming, I want to speak with kindness. So I speak with kindness and listen with compassion so that when I do engage with people, I have that sort of floating around in my aura, in my space, in my energy, that when I connect and when I communicate, I'm going to do so my best from this space, right? Conflict. What? Conflict resolution training. Learn techniques for effective and compassionate communication to apply in discussions that may lead to conflict or to apply in discussions that may lead to conflict. Sorry. Training can help you express yourself clearly without causing unintended harm. So when we are like, conflict resolution training, when we kind of figure out how to work through conflict or how to, best approach it and best approach it from a place where we're not too personal or involved or emotional. There's nothing wrong with that emotion, but we have to also learn to take a step back because usually when we have heightened emotion, other people will have heightened emotion, then it just gets deeper and deeper intense, and then the hoops, they go down, the eyebrows get painted on, and you're just like, we're gonna fight. So we need to learn to dial it back. I feel like when this card comes up, like, you know what, let's be mindful of this. Thank you. I mean, I try not to be mean. I really try. Like, I think I used to be. I mean, I don't think I know. I used to be more mean, and that came from a defensive place and an insecure place for sure. But like now, when I talk to people, I'm not trying to. Like, I don't try to be mean at all. Um, I might be like direct. I might be a firm. I might be firm. Um, Assertive, maybe sometimes aggressive, but it doesn't come from a mean place for sure. So conflict resolution is really great here for this aspect of the card. And our final talking point, our final sort of key insight for the day with the Queen of Swords reversed is this confronting bitterness or bitter bitch syndrome. Um, Confronting bitterness. So, encountering the Queen of Swords reversed can indicate lingering bitterness or resentment. And you can kind of see that. So, like, if you think about it, her positioning, she's looking at the past. Her mind is kind of getting all foggy because she's like really really into like, oh, this, she's like fixated is I guess what I'm trying to say. And so you can kind of see that lingering bitterness or resentment energy that's possible here that hinders personal growth and relationships. So this insight encourages us to confront these emotions, understanding their roots and seeking resolution. That's a huge one, I guess, throughout this entire communication is resolution. Embrace the process of emotional healing to release the past and renew your perspective, paving the way for healthier interactions and inner peace. What is this for? What are we mean about? So I feel like, when the Queen of Swords in reverse pops up for us, it can unearth things that, oh, we are fixated on something. Oh, we are obsessed about something. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with that at times, but it can turn to be something, it can turn into something unhealthy. Because if we are fixated on something and we're like really like, going at it with that something, we can start building paranoia, building fear, letting that fear, that paranoia, that insecurity to sort of like get cloudier and cloudier, and then we're creating a situation that isn't really based on anything beneficial for us. So that's something we have to be mindful of when she pops up in reverse. Practical applications, expressive arts. Use arts like painting, music, or writing to express and process feelings of bitterness or resentment. This creative outlet provides a physical form to abstract emotions, aiding in understanding and releasing them. I post on my page ever so often things that I write or things that I've written in the past. I used to write a lot more, but that's kind of how I That's how I work through things. So sometimes I might fixate on something or there's a feeling that pops up, but a lot of times I write, it's not just for myself, it's for everyone. And so like I will pay attention to what I'm going through, that feeling for me, and then I will like, start thinking on like a more a broad scale where other people's experiences that they've told me about or other people's thoughts, that they've shared with me, all of that I will take that in and allow it to kind of like um intermingle with my own stuff, and then I will use like I will channel that and I will write. I will just write whatever comes to me, right? Right. And so I'll express that in writing. I can't paint for shit. Like in music, I don't know that. I don't know her. Um so like I write. I will write poems or whatever you can call them, but I process through that, and it helps so much. So that's something that can help be beneficial for us when the Queen of Swords reversed pops up for us. Forgiveness practices, and this is something that we have to sort of have a caveat of, right? Um you don't owe anyone forgiveness. Like people like the idea of forgiveness. People like to make themselves feel better by posting memes or quotes about forgive, or like it's really not about the other person, it's about you, but you don't have to. And this is a thing that with that, like I used to kind of be in that space, but now that I understand more for me and I've unpacked things for me, I don't like it's not necessary. Like just because you do not forgive someone doesn't mean that you're not healing, right? You forgiving another person, another situation, an event, something that has happened to you is not necessary for your health and wellness and for you to heal. You are not damaged because you didn't forgive this douchebag over here, right? You're just not. And I feel like it's toxic when we express that. And I've expressed it before, so I understand that. Like I've expressed it before with ignorance, limited knowledge, but like I feel, again, this is me shifting my perspective, but like I feel we do a disservice to people when we say it is better to forgive because you're forgiving for yourself, not the other person. But like I don't need that. Like I'm fine. Like I don't need to forgive someone to find my healing. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And so we have to be mindful of that. But saying that, it doesn't mean you don't have to do it. Saying that, if you feel that forgiveness is something that is important to you in a situation, then you get to decide for your own person that that is what is right for you. I feel like I feel more and more, I like the practice of forgiveness of self, because I feel like we hold ourselves accountable for so many things that were out of our complete control. And so I like the practice of like self-forgiveness, not to blame, but it's like, you know what, it's okay. It's okay that we went through this. It's okay that we were in this situation. It's okay that we chose to put ourselves in this experience that we experienced and it didn't turn out that great. It's okay. And we can forgive that. Let me get a little sip. Hello, Natalie. 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 Don't worry, she's not gonna like pop up like Beetlejuice. I was trying to mother of pearl. See? Um I was going to plug your damn everything. The purple broom. Can you just post it? The purple broom apothecary, the purple broom something apothecary podcast. Why did I say apothecary? I feel like you had purple broom something, and then it was purple broom something else, and now I'm just like I see purple and broom. Where the hell did broom come from? Was it broom before? Okay. So, y'all, I'm not going nutty for that reason, anyways. Yeah, check out the podcast. Check it out. because why not? I'm totally taking a break for a second. Um, I love how Natalie speaks. Like, the way, like, I jumble my words, I'm all kinds of chaotic, and I can't enunciate always, and so I mess things up, which is fine. I don't care. Like, I mean, it's how I speak. But like Natalie has a way of speaking where it's like I can just understand clearly everything she's saying. And so like that, I like that. I like when people are able to enunciate better, and like they can like, because I can't do it, or I choose not to. I guess I could learn. But that's meh. Anywho, I know that's why. But anywho, um, ew. Well, no one should be chastising anybody here, like, for sure. Like, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm reading. Okay. Let's do this. I feel like the fixation on forgiveness is a holdover. Yeah. I feel that way. I feel that way. It can be for sure. Um, but yeah, engage in spiritual practices that focus on forgiveness, such as guided meditations or workshops. These practices can help you let go of past hurts and foster a sense of peace and release. Your podcast, y'all, we could be like getting the tea. The podcast, no, you didn't say anything wrong in your podcast. I hope. Ah, y'all, let's go. Okay, so go to the Purple Mystic when you have a chance, a podcast for the modern witch. And Natalie did a wonderful podcast for with Blue Knight. And they had some really like they had honest conversations. They had honest conversations. And of course I paused the Purple Mystic podcast and I went to Blue Knight's video and watched that thing in full. Got car sick, but but I watched it. I listened. There was nothing I don't feel like there's anything negative. There's nothing bad. It wasn't shaming anybody. Um and just and I'll give it. I can send it to you in a second, or if Natalie has it, she can link it. That's fine too. But I'll send it to you, Dragon Dancer, or I'll share it on my page. Because it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't bad. There was nothing. This, y'all, I'm so sorry. We're gonna take a minute. There is nothing wrong with what was said. Everyone is entitled to their perception, to their opinion, to processing things, because when this had to do with someone who was, and I don't say this to be petty, that's not it. They weren't anything to me, um, because they didn't necessarily have any relationship with them, and the little bit of communication I did have with this person and group was kind of mean girlish, mean personish. I don't know. It wasn't bad. It was just cliquish, and so it was not for me. I was already in a space in my praxis where I was formed and I had something to work with. But this person I also respected because they had a lot of influence, and it seemed like they used their influence to be of service and to help and to really care and engage, right? However, I'm giving you the Cliff's Notes. Watch the podcast. Listen to the podcast. However, recently, I suppose, they found Jesus, which is fine. Do your thing. But like, just like with like, first of all, they were not on the level of Doreen Virtue, and I don't say that to be any type of way. But they found Jesus. But just like Doreen Virtue, a lot of people, I took some courses from Doreen Virtue. And so a lot of people who were associated with Doreen, right, when she found Jesus and she went nuts and she went like, yes, she went crazy, zealoty and extremist for sure. So I will say that. And when she went that way, it made people who were maybe recovering from Abrahamic religious experiences, whatever, it made people question, like, oh, is what I'm practicing real? Oh, is what I'm doing blah blah blah, you know? Um right, right. Is there, there's so many things that where it makes people feel some type of way, and it doesn't feel good. Not that we they owe us anything, but it still makes you feel weird. It still puts someone in a position, especially like, oh, I've grown up, really so, how many times are you gonna make me share? But it's a mind fuck. It really is. And that's okay. And it's also okay for the persons to do what they feel is best for them. That's not what anyone is saying. But I think it's important to have healthy conversation about this stuff, because people will feel some type of way, and helping them navigate that, helping them realize like what you learn from someone, they can't take away from you just because they turn out to be someone different, or just because they choose a different path eventually, or whatever it is. What you learn from them, if it has worked for you, if you and you go on, you know blah blah blah, that's cool, do your thing. So yes, it's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling, but it's not it, the way that Natalie did the interview and the conversation, and the way that we talk about it, it's like it's not we're not shaming anyone for doing what they're doing. We're not, it's not a bad thing. It's like maybe could have been handled better, with respect. But yeah, everyone has their own path. So yeah, don't feel bad. You have a voice. And you don't need to take anything down unless you want to. And the only, like I'm here to tell you what to do. Like, and if you take something down, it should be because you want to do it, for whatever reason, not because anybody, it doesn't matter who they are, tells you that you shouldn't have an honest sort of conversation going on. You know? Um, Anyways, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I went on a tangent. But I'm really passionate about that sort of subject. I'm really passionate about the conversations to be had, because it's important. Because when people go through that sort of questioning and that fear and all of that, they need to be able to talk about it, so they can find their foundation again, or to just to restabilize, you know um so with that being said, our our talking practical app, oh my gosh, you guys, what am I doing here? I don't even know who I am. Cognitive reframing is the third practical application of this aspect of the card. So learn to reframe negative experiences in a more positive or neutral light. And I have to say, like, like talking communication words can be so limiting, because I don't like to say negative is bad, positive is good. It's not that easy. And so negative can be like things that just are maybe bad, but they're maybe like just not good for us, right? So it's kind of, I link it to, or liken it to, because I have the diabetes. Oh my God, the diabetes. uh I should not eat certain things, right? And so certain things, like an apple, is not very great for my body because of the sugar in that apple and how it spikes my blood sugar and what it does, right? Um However, you might be able to have an apple and enjoy the benefits of that. And so it might be a positive experience for you, whereas it hurts my body on some level, or has the potential to do that, you know? And so it's negative for me. And so learning to transform that sort of negative experience into something a little better, like, you know what, instead of having this, I'm going to have this. It's going to feel good for my body. Does that make sense? So, this mental technique changes your perception of past events, reducing their emotional weight and helping you move forward. So, cognitive reframing as well. I do this as best as I can when I'm ready for when I'm ready for it. Like, I will look at certain heavy experiences in my past. Like, I was a real cunt over here. You know, I really was, and I made people. I recognize, and if we just take into YouTube, like this, you know, when I started out, blah blah blah, I was passionate about what I did. I love what I do. I love who I am, but I also was working with limited vocabulary, limited people skills, and all of that, and also not knowing how to discern who was for me and who was just planting seeds, you know, all that stuff. And so I take full responsibility of the hurt that I have caused people, some, you know, in some intentional and some not. And so I can go back for me and recognize, like, yeah, this was what you did, this is what you said, this is who you were at that time. You can't take that from anyone else's experience, but you can also learn from it. And so I can learn to communicate better. So I try to be a better person today. I try to understand more. I try to listen to what is right for me. I try to make sure that I'm showing up in a different way, and doing that helps to reframe how I handle things, and then it helps to reframe how I see me back then. Does that make sense? And so looking back, it's like, okay, I can witness that experience, but now I have a different perception of it, and it's helped me to be a better person. It's helped me to be a better witch. What did I almost say, bitch? It's helped me to be a better bitch, y'all, for sure. But it's helped me in so many ways. And so, yeah, there's that. The Queen of Swords in reverse uh, can be overly emotional. So we need to have a healthy balance of our intellectual mind, our mental stuff, and our emotions. We don't have to run away from our emotions. We don't have to shy away and hide, but we can explore them. But make sure to explore them through a mental faculty. So, uh, yeah. An apple away keeps the doctor away, but that works for anyone if you throw hard enough. So, with that being said, y'all, I thank you so much. I thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you. And sorry for the sort of like a little tangent I went on, but I think it's appropriate to address such things and have conversations. And that's what I love about this. You know, I can't do a 55-second video. I just can't. I talk too much. But yeah. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I think I won't be back till Monday, because tomorrow we have people coming to fix some stuff, and I don't know if it's going to take 2 days or what. But I probably will just be back on Monday. So if you're not a patron, then I will see you on Monday for another one of these videos. If you are a patron, I will see you on Sunday. Again, everyone, thank you so much. I hope you have fun. I hope your day is going well or gets better. If you need anything from me, if you want to have conversations, you should join our Facebook group. I will link that somewhere. It's somewhere. It's somewhere. And yeah, you should do all the things. Uh, Here, I will link it right now before I leave. Boom, paste. Yeah, and I will talk to you Monday. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye.